project in which I derive music from buildings. I give buildings a singing voice through electronic music. Today we're going to have to think of the building as a complete different thing. We're going to have to think of the building today as a musical instrument. And there's nothing added to the sounds that the skateboarder made. So you have to think of this, the song being a literal translation of the building through the skateboarder describing it. You're looking to have the building make sound, and it has to be to do with how you relate to the school as a building, as a place of learning, as a place of transformation.
School causes a lot of stress.
How would you make that into sound?
I can hear it right now.
Use like blood flow maybe?
Mud flow?
Blood flow.
Blood flow, yes. Start thinking of your shot list. So which shots do we want to have the right representation?
We were going to drop a quarter and then stretch the sound of the quarter, kind of like how money and parents do, how they stretch your budget in some ways.
And I think the quarter, if you keep working on it, keep developing your ideas, the quarter probably represents even more things like this.
Process, and usually when you're coming up with ideas, you know, like the crumpling up of the paper and the throwing of the paper when you don't like an idea, and like
Sketch of the spinner in the storyboard, and then maybe the quarter appears in the storyboard, and then the paper starts to travel, and then maybe.
It seems like you're starting to take control of everything the quarter does.
Yeah.
So that the quarter does not, there's no random. So it seems to me that you're kind of controlling it so much that it's becoming like claymation rather than defining the building. So be careful, don't over-control all of it. And then there are
I agree, allow for some freedom to happen, the happy accidents that gonna appear.
will over-manage to the point where it's not going to work because it's so over-managed. And then I really like the idea that one team basically has all the B-roll. And that B-roll really gives the spirit of the piece. So I think I'm really excited about that.
And they
Getting teenagers to cooperate, particularly when they're not, unlike another high school where they have team sports, where you learn to cooperate, or if you're in theater where you have the part you're going to play. This is really great because it takes a lot longer to get visual artists in this department to collaborate.
Would the camera be going? Yeah, be careful, folks.
In the paper, we want to get her from about the forearms.
Yep.
So we don't want to see her face. We just
Yep.
want to see
Okay, and action. Yep, that's good. All right. Okay, so now we have to think, if we have all these 40 clips, how do we start the story? With all this context we talked about yesterday, the audience doesn't have that. So you want to leave some space for them, some openness to fill in their own narrative.
okay, so then after this,
That's the coin.
I like that, yeah. Is there a way to take one of those sounds and then stretch it, see what happens? What if you move this and almost the motion that the coin would be flying over?
Yeah, it depends on where you are in the clip. From living room to